This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Happy Mother's Day on a cold day in St. Louis. Game number 3, Cardinals looking for a sweep. It's the Rockies and Cardinals on Bally Sports. And welcome to the broadcast booth with the Cardinals Hall of Famer, Jim Edmonds. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is here as well. A chilly day, downright cold here at the ballpark. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. And Jimmy, the middle of the lineup, providing some spark for St. Louis.
Well, they're doing what exactly they were brought here to do, and it is to be powerful, especially these two guys we're about to show you. With Goldschmidt, he's been doing so many things right. You could see this series, hits the ball to right field. He hits the ball to center field, and I don't know what happened here, but somebody said he was going to hit a home run, and he did.
Did he ever? That ball was crushed, and now it's Nolan Arenado this weekend facing his former team.
Same stuff right here. He hits the ball all over the place, and he's got to be fired up to play against his old team. Hits the ball all over the diamond, and this is why these two guys are so good. In the middle of the order together has got to be dangerous and trouble for the other pitchers.
The back end of games, it's been Alex Reyes finishing the job. Did so yesterday, struck out the side in the ninth. The Rockies, the Cardinals coming up on Bally Sports. Cold, chilly day in the Gateway City. Edging closer to our first pitch. Rockies and Cardinals St. Louis looking for a sweep. And they'll do it with Adam Wainwright on the mound, pitching in career game today, number 400. Not start 400, but game number 400. Jimmy, he loves pitching against the Rockies.
Is there anything else we can say about this guy? He has done it all. Closed out World Series, starting and winning. Look at this right here. 168 games for the Cardinals, third all time. But this guy just keeps going and gets better with age. And you're right, pretty good against the Rockies.
German Marquez, Adam Wainwright, the Colorado Rockies, the St. Louis Cardinals. First pitch next, Bally Sports. Cardinals baseball on Bally Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. Happy Mother's Day. No better way to spend it than at the ballpark. And thank you to all the moms out there. The Colorado Rockies, the St. Louis Cardinals, overcast skies. It is very cold here at the ballpark. For May 9th in the Midwest, this is downright chilly. 49 degrees. The start of our game today. Cardinals yesterday became the first National League team to reach 20 wins. And Major League Baseball's best record, 12-4 since April 23rd. With Jim Edmonds, Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Adam Wainwright is on the mound, and the Cardinals are playing very good baseball, Jimmy.
Yeah, they are. They're starting to put it together. You can see flashes of that team that is now playing well all around the diamond, but pitching early, hitting in the middle. We obviously got the defense is I don't know if we can keep saying enough about the defense, but everyone's playing in tune right now, and it's nice to watch.
There's a look at your Hyundai pitch arsenal with Adam Wainwright. You know, a lot of curveballs, and usually Wainwright very efficient. Interesting here today, we just got word that Chad Whitson, who is an umpire, he was supposed to be at third base, is sick this morning and into the early afternoon, so he has been scratched. Jim Reynolds is the crew chief behind the plate. Tony Randazzo at first, and then you had John Lipka, who was just sensational the other night. Our understanding is that Randy Rosenberg is on his way to the ballpark and will be here mid-game. So we're going to start with 3 umpires. It's kind of like spring training. Raimel Tapia at the top of the lineup for Bud Black. Then Trevor Story, Ryan McMahon, Charlie Blackmon, Connor Joe, Josh Fuentes, Elias Diaz, Jonathan Daza, used as a pinch hitter, stayed in the game in Game 2. German Marquez is the pitcher in batting ninth. For Mike Schultz Club, it's Adam Wainwright, and away we go, looking for a sweep. Waino enters the ballgame as the oldest active player right now in the National League. 4th oldest in baseball. Albert Pujols currently the oldest. Yadier Molina the 5th oldest. And this battery still going strong in 2021.
Well, with Albert now being released, wouldn't that push everyone up the little pole a little bit?
A little bit, at least for the time being.
At least one person.
So if you're wondering why the players are wearing pink, and that is to support breast cancer awareness and just cancer in general in terms of awareness and money. Find out more at MLB.com. Honorary Batgirl lifted to right on the second pitch of the game, and the catch made by Dylan Carlson. So the pink stirrups, and you'll see ribbons, hats, bats.
That is fancy
gear,
right there. Look
everything.
at that. I think his shoes. I was looking at something earlier today on the way in, and Yachty had a pair of shoes on that said "Hi, Mom."
Love it.
I remember when they first started doing this, guys were almost embarrassed and weirded out by the pink bats, because you know guys are superstitious and
Sure.
they don't want to change bats just for one day if they don't have to. And so, you know, the first couple times around there was maybe 1 or 2 guys per team with a pink bat, and then next year. But I think it's really cool that everyone's getting into it now, and it's just overwhelming what kind of response it brings, because everyone's going, wait a second, what is it? You know, like you said, what is it for? But everyone knows
what a play here. Backhanded Arenado robs his buddy Trevor Story. Oh, man. Nolan Arenado, the former Rocky, robbing Trevor Story.
Are you starting to think that we might have the best seat in the house day in and day out?
I've said it before. This guy is worth the price of admission because of plays like this.
I mean, that is just ridiculous.
You start low, don't you, Jimmy, and then come up.
You have to start low, and I like the fact that he doesn't get too low, where the thing about that is you can't get too low where your first instinct is to stand up to move, and he kind of stays back a little bit. He moves around a little bit more than a lot of third basemen. Scott Rowland used to get nice and low, but not too low either. But it was always a step and a dive for him, because there's not a lot of movement at third base. Nolan Arenado plays the game a little different. He does move around a little bit more, and he allows himself to be able to come forward and go back. And his athletic ability, I'll tell you right now, I mean, we compare him to Scott Rowland a lot. He's second to none as far as how he moves for a third baseman.
Round the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. And the 1-1 pitch is popped up. Arenado on the outfield grass puts it away, and a 1-2-3 for Adam Wainwright with a little help from his third baseman. Cardinals coming up in the home half of the first. It has been the Denver dominance, and will it continue today? Meaning what the Cardinals have done against the Rockies, a chance at a sweep today. Busch Stadium opened up in 06. The Cardinals 40-13 at home against Colorado. Best home mark against any opponent in that stretch. Top of the lineup is Tommy Edman, Dylan Carlson, then Paul Goldschmidt, Arenado, DeYoung, Molina, O'Neill, Bader, and Martinez. Right-hander Germán Marquez for the Rockies. 23 earned runs, tied for the 5th most in Major League Baseball. His ERA the 4th highest right now. He's made 1 start against the Cardinals here at Busch. That was back in 2019. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes.
He's going to come right at you with that fastball, obviously 96, but just a guy that will make some mistakes. You have to be patient. Get a pitch to hit.
0-2. This could be tough for Story.
No chance.
Edman beats it out. Oh, they're going to say he's out. The Cardinals will take a look at it. To the naked eye, I thought he was safe.
Look at Tommy. He's not even going to walk back to the dugout. He knows he's safe. That's the one we talked about 2 weeks ago. We said the one in the dirt is the hardest one, because you can't tell when it gets there. He looked really safe, like you said, from the eye, but I don't know why it is about the ball in the dirt.
And the Cardinals will not challenge.
Wow, that's a heck of a play by Trevor Story. I'll tell you what, I thought there was no chance that he was going to throw him out.
Are you surprised they're not challenging? I understand first batter of the game, but and you save those for opportune times. I just thought they may do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you know what it was. They could probably thought that they won't overturn it because it was so close.
Yeah.
And so, kind of like in football, right? They just let it go because not going to overturn it wasn't obvious enough. I was shocked how close that was, and it might have even been an out.
Here's a 0-1. Rockies defense around the horn is presented by Dobbs. There's a look at Trevor Story at short. Fuentes to his right at third. McMahon and Joe on the infield. Diaz getting the start behind the plate. Tapia in left. Daza in center. Charlie Blackmon is in right. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Dylan Carlson, who's hitting .381 here at home.
That Joe guy is everywhere for them.
He is. 2-2. Cardinals, the first National League team to win 20, beat the Giants by a few hours. So entering this Mother's Day, 4 teams with 20 or more wins. Giants 20-13, Boston 21-13, Oakland, remember how they started, 6 straight losses. They're 21-14, and the Cardinals 20-14.
Oakland was what, 6 straight losses and then 13 straight wins or something?
It's incredible.
Crazy.
Yeah. And the 2-2 inside. Marquez a year ago in the 2020 season. Here's a look at his Hyundai pitch arsenal. But he was throwing a ton of breaking balls. It's about 25 to 26% breaking balls as Dylan Carlson singles to left.
That's the way you answer that fastball inside at the legs, trying to get you off the plate. Kid's getting better and better every day. Just stay with it. The ball the other way. Don't try to do too much. A little two-seamer that gets too much of the plate. What were you saying about the curveball? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, about a fourth of the time he was throwing it. He's got a pretty good one.
Yeah,
but he's not throwing it as much at times in certain starts this year.
Oh, he's of everybody in the league, he's in the top of the league with the breaking ball, with 2 left-handers, with guys in scoring position, with 2 strikes. So that is his pitch.
Goldschmidt with 4 home runs off of this right-hander. .414 the average. 29 at bats. Outfield shifting to right. As the bench of the Rockies was saying, get over into right center. And because of that, there is a big gap in left center.
And you know what Bud Black was saying, right? Don't hang him a slider.
So it happened yesterday at the Kia player profile. Very good numbers against this right-hander for Paul Goldschmidt. Homered yesterday. He's had 4 3-hit games so far this year.
I think everyone heard what happened yesterday, as hard as he hit that ball.
He's up into the concourse, basically, of, well, behind the bullpen of the Rockies.
Short hop that wall that's back there, right over the 43. What is that? That Cardinal Glennon homer sign, isn't it? The
Yes.
43 homers.
Homers for health.
Well, he whistled right through that one. It was loud up here in the booth too.
It sure was. You went out on a limb, as it was like old school pirate. Okay, you were on the plank and I pushed you.
Old school pirate. I was like, where's he going with this one? I always wonder where you're going to go with something.
I don't know where I'm going half the time
That's
either.
all right. I was on the plank.
You were
pushing me out of the booth, so I said, okay, here it comes.
Foul back just below us.
I want one of those. Take it home to mom.
Well, that fan caught that ball and said, "Mom, here you go." And Mom said, "No, you keep it."
I don't want it.
Here's the 0-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Goldschmidt has just loved hitting against the Rockies. I'm sure a byproduct of hitting at Coors Field, but all those games, Arizona and the Colorado Rockies, second in hits, second in home runs, most runs batted in among active players as that gets away. Carlson to second. He's going to try to go to third. The throw to third. And the tag, was it applied? Apparently it was. I'm not sure if it was, though.
Tell you what.
I'm not sure I saw a tag applied. Now, there was almost a collision, but did the glove get him?
Tell you what, that guy Joe, what a throw he just made. I think he got him on the knee right there, didn't he?
This will tell you right here. Oh, I don't know.
And that's close.
Right there, maybe.
Another one I don't think I would challenge, but you know what? Good hustle, Dylan. That's fine with me right there.
He stutter stepped around the bag at second.
Well, and one of the lost arts I've been watching this year a little bit and last year a little bit, base running, and not that kind of base running, the turns. Even the best base runners are still making wide turns, and you know, you got to give him credit for hustling, but he got himself in a bad spot. Like you said, he stutter stepped, didn't hit the bag right, but yet he veered way off, and probably wouldn't have made a difference, but it does make a difference most of the time.
Strikeout of Goldie, and there's no score after one on this Mother's Day.
Move to the second. You couldn't ask for more from the guys at the top of the batting order. Tommy Edman, Dylan Carlson have been doing a great job of setting the table. We're talking napkin holders, centerpiece, the absolute works. In the first two games of this series, they were on base a combined 9 times. Mike Schill loves it. He told me those guys have done a great job being engine starters, but the guys at the bottom of the order deserve credit too. They're doing their part to turn it back over to the guys at the top. They're setting the table for Tommy and Dylan. Danny, we have seen production from all over the lineup and some lovely table settings.
And a centerpiece, as you mentioned. Very nice, Jimmy. Here's Charlie Blackmon. To your point, the Cardinals 5 through 9 hitters are second in baseball in home runs, runs batted in, and 7th in runs scored. So we were always talking last year about trying to flip the lineup over, get it back to Paul Goldschmidt. Well, now you have Tommy Edman, Dylan Carlson, Arenado, Goldschmidt. Well, and 5 through 9 has done a nice job getting it back to them.
Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, there's not really you know, you don't see your typical holes in this lineup, this Cardinal lineup. I remember right before Nolan came here with that trade, everyone was kind of like, what are we going to do? Is this team going to be any good? And starting pitching, yes, but all of a sudden it was like, oh, we got Arenado, we're going to be good. Well, they were good anyways. They're a lot better now, clearly, on both sides of the ball. But this team is a good team. And when they all, some of them still young, figure out when they struggle how to get themselves back on track, how to work through a tough period. But they are a good, close group, and they got a great coaching staff. And I'm telling you, this is going to be an exciting team this year. I've been talking about it all year long.
3-2 is a curveball tapped foul by Charlie Blackmon. 3 hits yesterday, puts him back over 300 as a career 300 hitter against the St. Louis Cardinals. 7 hits in his last 4 games. And the 3-2 pitch hit the other way. You mentioned it yesterday. Don't pitch to this guy. He's starting to figure it out, and he is. And it's a leadoff double here in the second inning.
See the hits coming, and it's just like you can see a guy that comes in maybe hitting. He was hitting, I think, 200, if even that, at the beginning, and a couple of bad swings the first day, and then a base hit, and then a couple of good swings yesterday. Hit the ball in the nose almost every time, and you just see that you could see a guy heating up, and he's not one of those guys that's going to swing super hard. He's just going to hit a line drive, and now it's like 4 or 5 in a row. Yeah, I'm like, let's not pitch to him if we don't have to in a situation when there's guys in scoring position for sure.
There's Connor Joe, and you mentioned it, Jimmy, on the errant throw on the pickoff. What a throw, though, back to third. That was a rocket
cannon.
From Connor Joe.
It shocked me. He threw that ball all the way from the tarp to third base on a line, and I'm sure that anyone other than him at first base probably doesn't throw Carlson out. That's probably what he was thinking.
It's 2 for 19 in his young career. First hit as a Rocky was yesterday, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Charlie Blackmon has raised his average 35-40 points in 3 days, and the game isn't even we're in the 2nd inning. More damage to be done.
Loves hitting against Adam Wainwright. Hitting .500 in his career against Waino. He's at second base, and the 1-1 pitch. Fastball just off the plate. 2 balls and 1 strike. So you hit a ball up the first base line, and that becomes the call of the home plate umpire now. No first base umpire there. He has to shift towards second base. 3-man umpiring crew for the moment.
That was very, very observant by you right there. You see everything.
The 3-1 pitch to Connor Joe. Check swing did go. Full count. Third base coach is in a position to wave him in. Out of the coach's box.
Just a tad. Hoping he doesn't pull a breaking ball off of his shoulder.
That's fouled back. Renee Latchman, when McGuire was here, he'd be in the front row down by the State Farm sign and the sidewall.
You know what he's thinking right now? Why couldn't they have had those nets when I was around?
No kidding.
He would have been behind the net.
Put it this way, I didn't blame him at all.
That was kind of our topic of conversation yesterday, right? But I was talking about how amazing it would be to watch Mark McGuire hit for an entire year, and you said, well, I didn't get to do 98 as much, and I said I wasn't talking about 98. I was talking about it in general.
It's incredible. MLB Ballpark app will complete your next visit to Busch Stadium. Buy and manage game tickets, redeem offers, access exclusive content, much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. That's how you get your tickets with your smartphone. The Ballpark app.
I like that thing.
I do
like
too.
The way they've done it.
A lot of information on it.
Gives you a lot of, you're right. Gives you a lot of stuff about the ballpark in general and other ballparks and where to go. And by the way, right there to your phone for your tickets.
So 2 runners on, nobody out. Fuentes hitting an even 200. 2 home runs, has driven in 10. The former player at Missouri BAP here in town. Inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's a 1-1. Curveball, lined Arenado.
Talk a lot about Adams' breaking ball, and when it's good, it's down, and I mean down, it's short, so it's coming up there and getting short, which is down by the feet. This ball right here, look where it stays. If Yadi's catching that ball from his knees up, it's in the zone too long, and that's not where Adam wants it. You'll see as the game progresses, he'll start throwing it, and it'll get there, and all of a sudden it just dies kind of at Yadi's feet or in front of Yadi. He's going to have to reach for it. That's where Adam Wainwright wants his breaking ball to end up, not up there. For some reason, that just spins a little bit too long and is able to stay in the zone too much for the hitters and be able to put good swings on it.
Average at 128 for the catcher today, Diaz. 1 out, 2 runners on. First pitch is strike. The 0-1 pitch.
Good pitch.
It's May 9th of 2006. Adam Wainwright was in the bullpen for St. Louis. Earned his first major league win. Happened to be against Colorado. So first major league win 15 years ago today. And he's third in franchise history for total wins at 168 at the start of play. Bob Gibson, number 1 at 251. Here's a 1-1.
That doesn't
the mask of Molina, and he had a bunch of those yesterday.
Should be an out right there if you were in 2 strikes. Actually, that would be, wouldn't it? You don't think so?
No.
That's just different. I've never seen that.
Where it hits off the mask and back to Waino or to the pitcher?
Anywhere. God, he's been getting a beating. You can see, look at the new fresh paint mask.
Wow.
Well,
the logo's gone.
Fresh paint.
You ought to using that hockey style mask. Andrew Kisner has the helmet with the traditional mask of a catcher. Personal preference. The 1-2 pitch from Wainwright. Back to him, knocked it down with time. Out there, the turn, double play. Didn't rush, made the play. The turn by Tommy Edman, and he's out of a jam here in the second inning. Children in our community purchase a 50-50 raffle ticket. Weekly raffles open every Monday and run through Sunday, and one lucky winner will win 50% of the pot each week. Must be in the state of Missouri at the time of purchase. Visit cardinals.com/5050 for tickets. Nolan Arenado this weekend, a couple of doubles, 3 for 8 against his former team. He's hit safely in 6 straight, 7 of 8 this month. 379 here in the month of May. Like we always say, you know, you get hot when the weather turns hot, and that's 49.
You're used to playing in Colorado. You just get hot whenever you want.
Not a big deal, right?
Someone told me one time that Dave Parker had said that he was going to win the batting title one year because he felt so good in spring training, and someone was getting on him at the beginning of the year, and he said, when the leaves turn brown, I will be wearing the batting crown. And it's a true story.
Oh yeah, I've heard it.
When it heats up, so will some of these hitters.
Well, it's Mother's Day today, but he's had a memorable moment on Father's Day when he was with the Colorado Rockies. Kind of a famous picture and finish in Rockies history involving Nolan Arenado, and he yanks that down the left field line, hooking foul. But this was on Father's Day. As we flash back thinking about Nolan Arenado, and he hit for the cycle. Capped it off with a walk-off. In the celebration, he turned into Rocky. He was bleeding.
Popped in the eye.
Does that not sum him up, though, with every pitch, every play, every moment, the intensity?
We talked about the first day about how much of the intensity kind of catches you off guard, that someone can't play with that much fire all the time, and it's amazing to watch. I mean, it's just, he's very quiet until it's time to turn it up, and then he does everything pretty normal, and then all of a sudden he's pumping up the crowd, he's pumping up his teammates. You know, he just has this fire to him that he plays with. It's got to be an advantage for sure.
I asked Mike Schilt, what have you learned about him? He said he's a man of few words, but don't take that the wrong way. This guy is as intense and as good as advertised. Arenado out to deep left field, his first home run against his former team. Launched it into the bullpen. You know he's loving it.
And on cue, he hits the home run, looks into the dugout, going around first base, and says, "Let's go." This is what I love. This guy's got 8 Gold Gloves, hundreds of homers, RBIs, leading the league in hitting for the last 100 years, and yet still as exciting as can be.
Here's Paul DeYoung.
109 miles an hour.
It's a contentious relationship with Nolan Arenado at the very end in Denver with Jeff Bridich, the general manager, and it took about a month, and he's no longer the GM of the Rockies. Wanted to go to a place to have a chance to win, was frustrated. He's got a chance this year, no doubt. He's third in the National League with 23 runs batted in, tied with Justin Turner and David Peralta. Inside corner, 1-2 on Paul DeYoung. 2 for 3, double, run, 2 runs batted in, 2 walks, 2 steals yesterday, and no stolen bases.
You saw the shift there. That's a good idea right there, moving back with 2 strikes.
That line that DeYoung put together yesterday had not been done by a Cardinal since 1997. Delino DeShields did that against the Giants. And he did go, so a strikeout of DeYoung. Second strikeout for Marquez.
A little bit of respect about that sinker, that good fastball. You can see just a little, just wanted to open up just a little early right there. You watch that slow-mo of DeYoung.
Last year, Yadier Molina, 156 plate appearances, 4 home runs. This year, 75, and he's got 5. He's already driven in more runs than he did a year ago as well. Be curious to see how his swings look today, the base of what he's doing. Remember, he looked a little tender yesterday on one of the swings.
There's always that one swing that is going to get you. When you
Hit up the middle, glove by Story, plenty of time, spins, throws, and the pick by Connor Joe at first. That's out number 2, and it brings in Justin Williams. See, they're even running down the line, a little tender.
You got to be careful. Yep.
Shift on the right side, and Williams takes ball 1. Hit sharply to Story and into the shift. The home run hit by Nolan Arenado, his 6th as a Cardinal. RBI number 23, his first against his former team, and it's 1-0 St. Louis. Grab a $1 any size frozen beverage every game day at McDonald's. Nolan Arenado with the home run, 1-0 Cardinals as we move to the 3rd. Daza, Marquez, and Tapia due up for the Rockies. On the road, hitting .306, second best road average for the Rockies. You bring that up because you always do think about the splits with Rocky players. Hitting at home and then what you can do away from Coors Field.
Oh, it's one of the things too is we think so much about the ball carrying in that thin air, but how big the field is. You get a lot of base hits there. You lose a lot of games on walks and singles as much as you do on home runs, if more than you do on home runs, as everyone plays so deep. That was one of the first things that we were taught going in there, is don't play too deep, because that ball's going to get over your head anyway. There's nothing you can do. So take some of the singles away, cut the ball off in the gap.
Hit up the middle. DeYoung to his left. Throw up the line and safe. So Daza aboard. Brings in Marquez.
A lot of close calls already. What's three of them already? Can't challenge that one either, can you?
That'll be the fourth error on DeYoung this season. Marquez, pretty good hitting pitcher, and looks like the Cardinals will challenge here. See if Goldie got him on the swipe. We've had 3 plays it could have been challenged already. Cardinals saying, well, you got him, let's use him.
Slowing the game down too much if you keep looking.
Ooh, he may have gotten him. Close.
Just one of those things. Did he touch first? Watch his toe in the front. Watch this step right here on his right foot. Oh. Wow. He almost didn't touch first base either.
I'm not sure he did, looking at where the chalk line came up on his foot. The spike digging in. Showing it on the video board now here at the ballpark.
If you go back and step on first base, I think they have a better chance at that than they would the tag.
And the umpires will say he is safe. It's got to be one of those plays where maybe you see the glove and it hits the jersey, and you see the jersey just have a little slight movement to it to know that he did get him, but that's tough to overturn. So it'll be the error on Paul DeYoung, and it brings in Marquez. And as I mentioned, he can swing the bat. 224. That is his average. 6 doubles, a triple, a home run. And since 2018, tied for first with 30 hits, he and DeGrom. Arenado playing in, coming way in down at third. Long look by Waino. And the bunt is down. Molina over to Tommy Edman covering the bag, and that's the first out.
Yeah, he's got some serious shades of pink going on today. I'm noticing that when you watch the game live up here. Taking it to a whole new level for Mother's Day.
Tapia riding an 8-game hitting streak, 424 the average during that streak. You mentioned it yesterday. You like this kid.
I do. I was watching him a couple of times early in his career, and I thought another kid that can run in the outfield, but not much more. And this kid's really turned himself into a good player, good hitter.
First pitch is strike. Fly to shallow right. First time up. He's in his first 22 games, including today, at leadoff, batting .322. This spot in the lineup. And he's had that rare combination of doing well against righties and lefties. Yachty letting it roll, and it is a foul ball. Wasn't sure whether or not to take a chance, but with the speed of Tapia, couldn't risk it. So 2 strikes. There's 4 players in the National League hitting better than 300 against righties and lefties, and he's one of them.
This is a heck of a play by Yachty, because once you give up that, you have to wait it out. And Yachty's probably thinking Billy Finley right now, because that could have been a disaster. Been first and third and 1 out.
Mets getting some bad news today against the Diamondbacks as Jacob deGrom leaving the game in the 6th inning after his warm-up tosses. Remember, scratched in the start here against St. Louis, dealing with a lat issue. Hopefully he's going to be all right. And the 0-2 pitch. Curveball misses, low and away. Tapia came in batting .345 on the road, 4th best in the National League. Tying run in scoring position, 1-0 our score here in the top of the 3rd on this Mother's Day, and they're going to call a balk on Adam Wainwright.
Oh.
There was no argument either from Waino. I'm not sure what he did.
So just barely flinched, because you know he.
I think that's what it was.
Does a nice job with just about everything. Oh yeah, just a tiny little flinch right there.
Cardinals bring the infield in. 2-2 the count.
Outfield is playing about normal depth. Maybe a tiny bit shallow for this group, but still got plenty of room to run around out there.
The 2-2 from 0-2 to a full count. Nolan Arenado, the home run. He's got 40 home runs against starting pitching since the beginning of 2019, 5th most in baseball.
See if he get a little front door sinker right here. Get some movement on it.
3-2 pitch. He does, and a called 3rd strike. First strikeout for Adam Wainwright.
It's a great job right there by Yachty. A couple of breaking balls away. Ball out over the plate. And then going after him inside. 6 pitch at bat. 4 of those pitches are on the outer half. 1 is completely inside. So he's staying over the outer half, and then that pitch right there, no chance.
Story was robbed by Arenado first time up on a backhanded play. First 17 games, hit .270, very respectable, but 15 strikeouts, 3 walks. His last 16 games, he's had 11 walks. So it gives you an idea that he's seeing the ball better and hitting .321 in that time period. One ball, 1 strike. Shift on here for Story. Check swing held up. Two balls and 1 strike. 2 outs, runner at 3rd. And get Story in that first at bat, and then after that, after the first inning, 5th best average in baseball. Right on that pitch, fouled it back. 2-2. Well, you see the guy the first time, maybe understand what he has, make an adjustment, and that's what Trevor Story does.
Well, he does have such a good swing and such a good idea. That ball right there is on the black, away, and he has a great swing at it. It's one of those guys you got to really think, how do I want to attack this guy, and what does he think I'm trying to do to him? I got to figure out how to do the opposite.
Sets up inside the 2-2. Hit a spot, but it is in. 3-2.
It's that spot right there where you'd like to throw a four-seamer to keep it stay on the same plane, not run in off the plate. Some of these guys know that Adam, every time he throws the ball inside, it's going to keep running. Two-seamer keeps coming inside for a ball. I'd love to see that four-seamer, even that front door cutter, staying in there instead of like the pitch that he just threw before for the front door fastball.
Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Back-to-back Ks with a runner at third. And again, Wainwright out of trouble midway through 3. The strikeout of Trevor Story, and it's 1-0. Wishing everybody a happy Mother's Day, and he's got a front row seat with his mom, Rhonda. Happy Mother's Day to everyone out there, and he just had a conversation with Adam Wainwright, who's on deck.
She is the sweetest lady. She loves her little boy Nelly, little Cornell. She's a really nice lady, though, by the way.
I'll tell you what, Nelly makes it to a lot of games. A lot. See him at the ballpark. Here's Harrison Bader. Bunting and foul. Well, Bader's reached base safely in 8 of 9 games that he's played in this season. He's got 18 career hits against Colorado, and 9 have gone for extra base hits. 3 home runs. Guarding the line is Fuentes. He's in. And the 0-1. That's over his head.
That's one way to slow him down.
Remember, Bader was robbed by Fuentes yesterday playing deep. And so one way to bring him in, drop down a bunt.
Trying to throw that breaking ball a little extra.
1-2. Wainwright on deck, and then Tommy Edman. Bader pops it up, back foul, and out of play. McMahon at the plate. The All-State good hands. Harrison Bader safe. Nice play in center.
I like the end right here.
Tell you what, he is
little Superman, little whoa.
Solidified that defense of the Cardinals in a big way. There's a base hit into center.
And he's starting to hit. Love the way he's swinging the bat. He's staying on the ball, doing all the things that we talked about over the last couple of years. He just hadn't gotten to it yet. He's getting a little bit older, getting a little bit smarter, working a little differently, doing things differently, getting rid of the home run thought, the big swing thought. Those are going to come.
There's Adam Wainwright. Third baseman Fuentes is in. Bader the runner at first. Wainwright among active pitchers, first in hits, RBI, doubles, extra base hits, runs, and second in home runs with 10. Happy Mother's Day to my mom, who loves watching Cardinals baseball. Doesn't miss our telecast, Jane.
Hey, you know what? I just thought about this too. Sometimes I forget, but my mom is also watching too,
yes,
even though she is in California. So happy Mother's Day, Mom.
That's bunted foul. Now Jane McLaughlin, she'll also be up for sainthood, in addition to being a great mom.
Well,
she put up with a lot.
I was going to say, she has got to be a great mom to put up with you. And then, by the way.
Yeah. I'm going to get to my wife here in a second.
Well, she's got to put up with you even more.
Yeah, we have. I always say she raises 5 kids.
And you have 4, right?
Correct. Marquez, his only play is to go to the bag at first. So also happy Mother's Day to my wife, Libby, who doesn't watch many of our games and probably isn't watching now, but maybe someone will tell her, well, she is a awesome mom and raising our 4 kids.
For good reason, is she's probably can't watch right now because she's got lassos in both hands going 2 different directions, and
that's right,
a foot out tripping one of the other ones, and
that's right,
one of them tied to another chair.
That's pretty much
my
right.
house is like right now.
It's chaos. Now we talk about the coaches and the players being at the ballpark and traveling. Well, we do that a lot too. So it's our moms and our, in this case, the wives that really do raise the kids. So thank you very much. Harrison Bader at second base. Tommy Edman. As my mom always used to say affectionately, that our house was a locker room. It wasn't a house, it was just a locker room. One sport after the other, driving us all over the place. And never with complaint. The best. And she took care of half our neighborhood, if not all of it, too. She was a nurse. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Edman breaks his bat. 2 hops to Connor Joe. Bader to third. And my wife now, I just say that she lives in her car. Because she's driving our kids everywhere. You know what that's all about.
Yeah. Well, some of our best conversations are from the carpool lane.
That's right. So happy Mother's Day, everybody.
Everybody.
You got it.
Everybody who chips in.
Here's Dylan Carlson, single to left. Bader, the runner at third, 1-0 Cardinals. And the first pitch to Dylan Carlson is taken for a ball. 6 game hitting streak turned into 7 with that base hit. And among rookies, 35 hits, one back of Mercedes of the White Sox. And a lot of people were saying, well, why wouldn't Albert Pujols go to Chicago and reunite with Tony La Russa? That is a main reason right there. Mercedes has been their DH. He's been really good. And they've got the reigning MVP at first base. So where are you going to play him?
Yeah, if anyone was going to figure it out, I think Mr. La Russa would. But there'll be a spot for him. Talked to Albert today already and said he was sitting home waiting patiently, trying to figure out what to do.
There's a 2-1 pitch. Bay Strobel, 96 years young. Huge Cardinal fan. Happy Mother's Day. Never misses a Cardinal game. The 2-2 outside. Bader can get way down the line as Fuentes, third baseman, is off the line. So Bader, he can get at least a third down the line towards the plate.
Well, that was another thing I was just watching. I wish we could quickly. I didn't want to ruin the at bat here, but the way he is leading off the base and getting back in fair territory would be a great teaching tool for a lot of young kids. He's doing it as good as anyone and doing it right.
You take your lead in foul territory in case you are hit with the baseball. If it is, it's a dead ball. No damage done. If you're in fair territory, you're out.
When you get back in fair territory where you're blocking the catcher from an easy throw down there to get you out.
And the 3-2 pitch with a runner at third. Inside. And a walk issued to Dylan Carlson, and now Goldschmidt. Well, we see this every day, but this is where, if you're the opposition, you haven't seen the Cardinals, you're seeing them now. This is where they are unrelenting.
Well, good at bats is what you need, and it's one of the things that maybe the struggles of the Cardinals early on was, you know, Dylan Carlson now is having the best at bats of almost anyone on the team, because he now knows that that is a great at bat. Take a walk. It's better. It's as good as a hit, but you're not working as hard. Get these guys in the middle of the order up to the plate any way you can. And so when you have good at bats like that over and over and over, yes, lineup gets deeper and deeper.
Out of play. Goldschmidt with runners in scoring position. 321 the average. 2 doubles. He's driven in 14. And on the year total 20. Bader started the inning with a base hit to center. Wainwright the sacrifice. Edman moved him over to third with a ground out. A walk to Dylan Carlson. No balls and 1 strike on Goldie, and a check on Carlson.
What I also like about the way Bader's leading off too is he's getting far enough down the line that if the ball, which
that was my point, if it gets away with the cold weather.
Well, yeah, and with the way Marquez can bounce some balls around in there, he can score easily if he gets down there and gets a jump. Ball doesn't have to bounce far.
0-2. Dylan Carlson, by the way, has already seen 14 pitches of the 52 thrown by Marquez. Both were 7-pitch at bats. He's standing at first base with a single and a walk. Bader, your runner at third. And the 0-2 pitch to Paul Goldschmidt. And a swing and a miss. Strikes out for the second time. Cardinals strand 2, their first 2 of the afternoon. We played 3 on this Mother's Day here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Left, and that's the Molina Mama.
Oh,
boy, she put out some good baseball players. 3 catchers that all made it to the big leagues, and that's Gladys Mata, and Yadi's mom, and here today. And happy Mother's Day to the Molina family. Very cool. Can you imagine that household?
Not only did she produce, along obviously with their father who has passed away, rest in peace, 3 athletes, 3 quality guys. All 3 of them are stand-up men, and I've got to know all 3 of them. Played with obviously Yadi and Benji, and know Jose from the years, but I mean they couldn't be better. 3 brothers that it couldn't have turned out better. Congratulations to her.
Here's a 1-1. Benji is the nicest guy. Was he like that as a player?
Yeah, always. Almost too nice.
He's great. It's great to have him with us.
Well, Yadi's the same way. He's just got a little bit more fire. You see more fire in him. Yadi's a little bit, or Benji's a little bit more laid back.
2-1 pitch. You know what will happen? The guy behind the plate will retire, and we'll see a different side to him. Guarantee it.
I don't think you'll see much of him. He'll be gone.
Well, when he's around, you'll see a different side.
No, I mean he's
just intense, man.
Yeah, he's just as good as it gets. He just will not back down from anyone, and that's the way he was raised, and that's the way those boys grew up. And I mean that's a credit too, because he stands up for what he believes in, stands up for his teammates. But he couldn't be more mellow.
Oh, I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
No, I love it.
He's just a very intense man behind the plate in uniform, and has been that way since he arrived on the scene here in St. Louis. We're in the 4th inning, 1-0 our score. McMahon at the plate, the 2-2. And a fly ball lifted out to left. Williams with the catch. So Wainwright gets the first man here in the 4th inning. Join us for a midweek series here at Busch. Cardinals and Pirates, May 18th and 19th. 10,000 fans entering with a ticket receive a Cardinals visor. And tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Well, you hit something on the head when you talk about Yachty. And this is Charlie Blackmon, who doubled into the gap in left center. He's 1 for 1. You said teammate, and anybody that has played with him, I've never heard, not one time, a disparaging remark about a guy that's playing with him or someone that's played with him and moved on. I mean, it is the utmost respect and as complimentary as you can get about a peer when they talk about Yadier Molina. And I'm sure you agree.
Unbelievable human being, teammate, person. But that's why he is what he is. You know, you have to be that way and do all those things incredibly well to be as good as he's been and as good as he is.
The minute that he got that first pitch from Wainwright became the first in Cardinals history, and probably will never be done again, at least in our lifetimes, of 2,000 games caught behind the plate. Everybody in that dugout popped out as fast as they could to give him a standing ovation. Trainers, assistant coaches, the manager, his teammates. Good curveball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Highest team winning percentage among catchers, and he is among some of the greats in the game in terms of what he has meant to this franchise. Wow. Names like Bill Dickey, Yogi Berra, there it is, Johnny Bench, Gabby Hartnett, and Yadier Molina. Two and two. And the next from Bueno. Fastball, looking for something else and struck him out. 3 today for Adam Wainwright. His home run, the difference so far. Back in the 2nd inning. Arenado is first against his former team. Statcast, powered by Google Cloud. His home run, 6th of the year. Jimmy, we have talked about this, and there's a great look at it, but the side view of, how about right before he hit that ball, he is jumpy, man. He's not quiet in the box, his feet moving. And Arenado pulls it foul.
I think I was having a conversation with one of the guys, and we were talking about Nolan and why he does that. And he does it to get his weight back and stay back, and it's just something that he developed. I think it's a really cool thing because you don't see it a whole lot, and that's why this game is so great, and while hitting is so great, because there's no one way to do it. You got to take what you have and you hone it and make the best out of what your abilities are.
I could see him though being caught with that if he's not back and he's kind of doing the weight transfer slightly back and forth and he's on his front foot. And if you're not back,
I think he used to be more of a front foot drifting hitter, and I think one of the reasons why he can do what he just did right there is he can stay, his hands can stay back and he can let the ball travel a little bit. He gets his weight out in front of him sometimes and hits the ball the other way, is because that's the way he grew up hitting. So he had to fix something to learn how to stay back, and kind of like my spread stance came after I'd already been to the big leagues because I needed to figure out how to pull the ball. Same kind of thing for him. He needed to learn how to stay back.
Backhanded by Josh Fuentes. Throw up the line. Save. They're going to take a look as to whether or not the tag was there, as Arenado avoided that tag. And that'll be his second hit.
Ball just takes off up the line.
He's 2 for 2 today. He's able to go in that baseline to potentially avoid a collision on that, so he gets a little leeway with that play too.
But the one thing too, what makes that not really stand out is he was already in the grass because of the swing, and he never really veered off and then tried to move. He just stayed in the grass and ran smooth, and the last second he was up the line a little bit. But I think if he's out there in the dirt and then runs into the grass, it probably gets everyone's attention and might change the way they view that.
Talking with Mike Schilt the other day, and I think this is one of the good things that baseball may do. So you're going to have the bags about 3 inches wider than what it currently is at different spots in the minor leagues. Now, we always say that you might say to yourself, well, what's the big deal? Well, 3 inches is a lot. I mean, think of how many bang bang plays you have at first base, those plays at second base on stolen bases. We'll find out more as the data comes through about those types of plays.
Well, that's
a lot.
I always looked at it too as like,
that's now let me say
size
this too.
Of feet.
Well, you're getting a half foot now, so you got 3 inches going one way. So just look, you know, the edge of the first base bag going towards second. Imagine the second base bag having 3 more inches going towards first. That's 6 inches. I mean, you're getting that's a lot.
You're going into in depth. When I was just sitting there thinking, you know what, these guys are trying to prevent injuries because the guys are so big.
Well, that's part of it too.
You can see the size of their feet on the bag, and a lot of guys don't play the way they used to play. And
we're trying to get offense in the game, and that's the main thing.
Yeah,
is you're saying, well, that's how you get it going. But I get it too. I think you do avoid some of the injuries with that.
I think that's a good. I mean, I only thought about first base, and that's what was kind of laughing about the size of the players now and bumping into each other and the feet being in the way and guys tripping over each other. But that's right. I never really thought about that extra little bit of space to kind of change some bang bang calls. Abner Doubleday might be a little ticked off about that.
What do you think of the shift?
Boy, he would make the infielders all stand in the dirt.
The 1-2, and DeYoung hits a fly ball out to center. Jonathan Daza there. That will be done in the minor leagues as well.
That one I would have problems with.
So there'll be a limit in the first half of the season on shifts where everyone has to have their feet on the infield dirt. So your second baseman is not in shallow right. And then in the second half, the positioning in terms of going, let's say, a shortstop on the second base side of the bag, that will be eliminated.
I mean, just look at the second baseman right now. His feet are in the grass, and he's just standing out there in his normal position. That's just giving yourself a little bit extra room to cover more ground. I don't understand how. I get the whole shift thing, and we're trying to fix this part of the game and more offense, but how can you tell me, like a center fielder, okay, well, you can only play so deep?
Ripped into the gap in left center field. Arenado to third. Arenado being waved in. The throw not in time. And Yachty, with mom in the stands, puts a smile on her face to make it 2-0.
Such a great swing right there. Cannot be feeling great from head to toe, but he still goes out there and does everything he can to win this game.
And a point to mom. He knows she's here and Benji's here. That's great.
Back to my point, I never really made a whole lot of noise playing in this game as far as off the field, but if for example, If someone was to tell me when I was playing, hey, you can't play that shallow, or you got to play a little bit deeper, or you can only play so deep because we need more offense, I would lose my mind.
Yeah.
And so,
well, I think a lot of people are saying, well, you got to learn just to hit the ball the other way.
well, it's not even that. It's just like now you're telling pitchers that they can't pitch inside to a guy who can't hit a fastball inside. I mean, how in depth of this is it going to go? And vice versa, right? Hitters are taking away certain parts of the plate that pitchers can't pitch to. I mean, it's just the evolution of the game. If you really want to eliminate everything, let's just get rid of all the computers and go back to the old VCRs and sit there and watch the tape every day and see what the guy's got, and then you go play. If that's what we're getting down to, then don't worry about anything else. Nobody can really chart, and you don't have spray charts and tendencies and percentages. Just wipe them all clean and just play like you played in AA. If that's the issue, I mean, come on. But you're asking companies and Microsoft and all these people to just ignore everything that's out there. You can't do that, and it's just part of the game. 1
ball, 2 strikes. Williams hit into the shift first time up. Trevor Story, second base side of the bag, the shortstop. It was a rocket hit at him. The 1-2 pitch and a strikeout for Marquez, his 4th of the afternoon.
Tell you what, he's got some kind of breaking ball, and he uses it a lot. Probably as much as anybody in the game when it comes to striking guys out.
Again, last year, 25% of the time, and they'll walk Bader to get to Adam Wainwright.
Danny, 70% of his strikeouts versus lefties are with the breaking ball. 70.
That tells you that baby's moving down to the back leg, probably. Yep. A lot of guys swinging over it.
No, he's not really throwing it around the plate much. he's coming after you.
Wainwright sacrifice first time up. So 2 outs and 2 on.
You think he's got what Jack did in the back of his mind a little bit? He's got a little pop.
Friday night, Jack Flaherty, first career home run. Wainwright with 10 career home runs. First at bat was a home run.
Maybe not against this guy, but this is the guy you kind of try to stay up the middle with, so you can stay on top of that breaking ball and not get fooled. But definitely takes his shots when he can.
One ball, 1 strike. 2 outs, 2 on.
I think just watching him pitch, Marquez, he's got good stuff. And from everything that I've read and everything that I see, it looks like could be his only downfall is he pitches the patterns. Like I said, he's talked about the strikeouts with the left-handers. It gets to curveballs. In general, 50–60% of the time with 2 strikes. 70% of the time he throws fastball first pitch. So you get a good hitting team that really dives into the numbers a little bit. You're going to have trouble if you keep those patterns going.
2-1 is hit deep into right near the sidewall and out of play. Charlie Blackmon sliding on the track there in right.
Please be careful down there. Seen some guys get underneath this and get hurt.
Well, there's padding there, and then, as you know, Jimmy, that's his right knee went into the concrete, it looked like.
Yeah, there's padding, and then there's about 8 to 10 inches, I would think, of concrete underneath the padding that could not feel good.
Two and 2 the count. Look at the gap in center and left center. Very shallow in center and right, and a swing and a miss. 2 in the inning. In terms of strikeouts, 5 in the game, but Molina, the RBI double, 2-0. Baseball on Bally Sports Midwest is brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Cardinals. and by Steel. Find your Steel dealer at steeldealers.com. 2-0 our score, and let's check in with Jim.
Danny, we know Jordan Hicks is going to be out for a while. We are waiting to find out about a plan for Jordan's treatment. Apparently, there is one in place. We told you the other day they did get a second opinion on Jordan's right elbow issue. Mike Schultz said today the doctors have agreed on a treatment plan. Once they finalize it, they'll give out the details. He said that should be in the next day or two. Dan, stem cell, PRP injection, or just rest. All of them take a number of weeks. We are all hoping for the best for Jordan.
And the Cardinals on a chilly day here at Busch Stadium. The big three out of their bullpen. Alex Reyes, 10 for 10 in save opportunities. Gio Gonzalez, 19 innings, a 2.84 ERA, 23 strikeouts, only 4 walks. And we were wondering, Jimmy, how Genesis Cabrera would bounce back after hitting Bryce Harper in that scary situation here at the ballpark. He's gone 5 1/3, 1 earned run, 15 2/3 over the season, and a 2.87 ERA. So you miss Jordan Hicks, but right now the Cardinals feel pretty good about their bullpen.
Well, you got to get guys to step up, and they're doing it. You're always going to miss your studs, but there's a reason why there's a 40-man roster, and there's a reason why guys are being prepared in the minor leagues, and so you always have to have some switch over because there's always going to be someone going down during the course of the season.
There's Fuentes, who lined out to Nolan Arenado, his cousin, first time up, and a ground ball to Young. 1 pitch, 1 out. That's how we start the 5th inning. Elias Diaz grounded into a 1-4-6 inning ending double play back in the 2nd. $15 games, number 16 today for Adam Wainwright against the Rockies. 11 starts, 10 have been quality. He's 10-1 with a 1.56 ERA. He's won 8 straight decisions against Colorado. Big curveball missed, but hasn't faced the Rockies since May 27th of 2017, so nearly 4 years ago. And the 1-1. Slowly hit. The Young gloves and got him.
Tell you what, I don't know if you've noticed this, and I don't think there was anything wrong with it. I think that Paul DeJong has picked up his game on defense as well.
I would agree.
Looks like he's got a little bit more pep in his step. I don't know if he was not feeling good before, or if he wasn't moving as good, or I would never suggest that his offense was troubling him, but I don't know if he just seems like he's got a little bit more life, or he's just gotten more plays to make in the last couple days.
There's Daza. Tell you what, the thing that I noticed the other day, he actually smiled, and I mean that sincerely. You know, it's been a frustrating start for him, no doubt. And we saw him smiling. He was playing a little flip before the game. You could tell that he was a little bit more confident at the plate. That'll relieve you a little bit too, I'm sure.
Maybe found something because he got a few hits.
Two 2-0 with 2 outs and nobody on. Daza reached on an error back in the 3rd.
The thing that I think some of these younger guys don't realize too is you struggle a little bit and then you find yourself, you're not always going to run into 3 or 4 or 5 guys in a row that are just going to feed you some heaters to hit, and just because your body's in good position and you're swinging the bat well, every now and then you're going to run into a guy like Marquez has got 96 with a good slider and good breaking ball, and he's going to make it really hard on you. And so you can't go home and say, oh man, I had it and I lost it. You just got to come back the next day, start the process all over again, feel good about yourself, and go lay it all on the line again. I think that's still to the day. I think being a right-handed hitter has got to be the toughest thing to do in all of sports. They'd say hitting a baseball is tough. I think hitting a golf ball is tough, but being a right-handed hitter hitting a baseball has got to be the toughest thing.
And he walked him. Walk number 2 for Waino. And the batter will be Marquez. Cardinals will enjoy their first off day. They've played in 17 days straight. So tomorrow the off day, then they head out on the road. They've got Milwaukee and then go to San Diego. Kim against Peralta Tuesday night. 6:40 with the first pitch. Will come your way at 6 on Bally Sports. Cardinals start play today 2 games in front of the Brewers. Kim, Gant, and Flaherty are lined up for the series with Milwaukee. We'll have 2 of the 3 games for you.
Isn't it crazy how quickly things can change? You know, just a couple days ago, we're a couple games behind Milwaukee, kind of right around 500, and all of a sudden you play you go 8 in your next 10, and team behind you or team in front of you goes 4 of the next 10, and find yourself 2 games up and playing well.
Cardinals 8-2 in their last 10. Milwaukee 4-6. To your point. Busy inning for Paul DeYoung. Midway through 5. St. Louis on top. 5K presented by Bally Sports Midwest will celebrate Lou Brock, and proceeds benefit Girls on the Run St. Louis. Cardinals Care, the Redbird Rookies program, and register at cardinals.com/5K. The T-Mobile coverage cam on a cold day here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis in early May. Temperature below 50 at the start of our telecast today.
It's still there, by the way. It is cold.
Well, you're always cold because you're from Southern California.
I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
Maybe, all right, I'm with you. It's cold.
Maybe I'm just cold because it's cold and the wind chill is at 44 degrees.
You have, let's see, you're bundled up. You got one coat on. You got a hoodie on. What else?
That's it.
My goodness.
I'm kidding. Got a t-shirt on. I'm saving my big jacket for in case I get a little bit colder.
All right.
But when you see me like to get a little bit lower, kind of underneath the table where the heater is, then you know it's starting to get cold.
Underneath our table, it's a good, I'd say 60, 65.
Yeah, but above the table?
45?
Yeah, back to the 44 degrees with a little breeze in your face.
Ooh, it's chilly.
Just go for maybe the wind to change direction would be nice.
That's what we need.
Let it blow out instead of blowing right up in here in our face.
Here's Tommy Edman.
Could be worse.
You got it. Fun at the old ball yard. Edman jammed, popped up. Ryan McMahon, one away. Brings in Dylan Carlson, single to left and walked. On base twice. He is slugging .466. Only 3 Cardinal rookies finished a season better. Pujols slugged .610 his rookie year. Joe Medwick .497 and Stan the Man .490.
Tell you what, when this guy misses inside to a lefty, he really misses. I'd like to hear Bob Uecker calling some of those pitches.
Just a bit inside. But that was Harry Doyle. When Bob does the Milwaukee Brewers games, he's very, very professional. You know, stays to the game. Now, you get some funny stories, don't get me wrong.
Major League. Was that the
Harry
movie?
Doyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, I was trying to think of the movie that he's.
Major League.
Yeah, that's where I was missing.
Another base hit for Dylan Carlson. On base for the 3rd time. If things keep going like this, he's going to be the Rookie of the Year. We're a long ways away, but man, oh man, he's putting together a heck of a rookie campaign.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is what he's doing so well, right? 2 pitches inside and off the plate. Instead of loading up and trying to really launch, just trying to stay with it. Takes a really good swing. He knows this guy's got good stuff. Before, he was swinging and missing. He was swinging through a lot of those pitches, swinging too hard. Now he's just taking what they give him and just quietly going to first base.
And a threat to steal, too. Here's Goldschmidt, who struck out twice. And a fly ball that'll carry to Charlie Blackmon. Makes the catch, and that's out number 2, and it brings in Nolan Arenado. Want to work part-time at Busch Stadium? Sports Service, the official concessionaire of Busch Stadium, hosting a hiring event this Thursday, May 13th. Open interviews take place at Gate 3 from 2 to 6. Free parking, complimentary ballpark food. And for more information, visit cardinals.com/jobs. Arenado is 2 for 2. And a fly ball lifted to center. Jonathan Daza. Cardinals strand a runner. They've left 5 through 5, and it's 2-0 on this Mother's Day. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Cardinals and not to be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cardinals.
This big inning right here for Wainwright. 6th inning. 68 pitches. This is when, if you can get through this inning, keep your pitch count down, you're looking at 7 or 8 for sure, taking a load off the bullpen. Got to be careful right here. This is those mid innings where guys start to have a little bit of trouble because of the fatigue factor, but clearly you just never know what's going to happen in the future, so you want to get ahead and try to keep your pitch count down.
Tapia, base hit into center. So the tying run again will be at the plate in Trevor Story.
Little cutter right there, just didn't really get to where he wanted it. Good piece of hitting. Man, this guy pretty impressive.
Extends his hitting streak to 9 games. Trevor Story robbed down at third by Nolan Arenado on a backhanded play and struck out on a 3-2 curveball back in the 3rd inning. He's 0 for 2. And the 1-0 pitch to Trevor Story. Out of play. Just missed inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. The 2-1 pitch. 2-2. See Story's reaction on that called strike. Not particularly happy with that. Shaking his head a bit. Mentioned the other day that John Lipka, the home plate umpire in Game 1, depending on how you want to look at it, missed one call. One, and it was borderline. I think the umpires this series have been fantastic.
They have been fantastic, and I still can't believe the report that we got on that first game, how incredible of a job that he did. And when I was looking at the actual report with the strike zone and the ball in it, I think it was the ball was on the top of the strike zone and he called it a ball and it was supposed to be a strike, but it was literally on the top of the zone, and that was his only blemish of the entire day.
1-1, and it was, I mean, it was borderline too.
I mean, borderline is right.
So we'll see if they want to do some running here on 3-2, down by a couple of runs. Waino thinking the same thing. Long look. There he goes. Fouled back. On deck, Ryan McMahon. Pitch count at 75 for Adam Wainwright. Cardinals will have DeYoung, Molina, Williams coming up. St. Louis turned to double play back in the second inning. Tapia 3 for 5 in stolen base attempts. Start the runner. DeYoung quickly to first. And there's one away.
Tell you what, and Paulie's got a sneaky good arm too. He doesn't use it a whole lot, doesn't need it a whole lot. Puts himself in good position with his feet. But that was a bullet he threw over to first base right there.
McMahon is over 2. Popped out to third and flied to left. A shift on the right side for Ryan McMahon. Waino had a balk earlier in the game. That was his first since 2014. 7 years. Be careful here with players that have at least 125 at bats this season. Only 2 in the National League with an OPS on base plus slugging over 800, and they're both in this game. One at the plate, the other playing third base for the Cardinals. Nolan Arenado. And the check on the runner. Tapia at second base. Curveball, a beauty. 1 ball, 1 strike. As you mentioned, Jimmy, big inning here. 6th inning. Wainwright starting to wind down his day, more than likely. Pitch count, though, efficient, 78.
Well, you got to keep it there, and that's what he's trying to do right now, but it kind of got a little sidetracked. Problem for Waino is he throws so many pitches and he's around the plate so much. A lot of guys take pitches thinking, okay, what's he going to try to do to me? Or is he going to throw the sinker? And then the next thing you know, even though he gets ahead in the count, guys aren't swinging.
And a fly ball, shallow center, and a big second out. So 2 outs, runner at second base here in this 6th inning. May 21st or the 23rd. Cubs are here. Take home that jersey presented by Scott Credit Union. Cardinals.com/promotions. There's Charlie Blackmon.
Well, you know what I think about this at bat, right?
First base open. Connor Joe on deck.
Hate to put the tying run on base, but you got a guy who's hot, getting hotter.
Bader on the move, and he'll make the catch. Waino through 6, and the Cardinals on top. Budweiser. Pregame at 6. After the off day tomorrow, Kim and Freddie Peralta. Peralta 3-1, 3.38 the ERA. Kim is 1-0. ERA just over 3. Wednesday will be on the Plus channel, and then the ever popular YouTube celebration on Thursday. Here's Paul DeYoung, followed by Yadier Molina and Justin Williams. Two balls and no strikes. Struck out back in the second, fly to center, 0 for 2. And the 2-0 out to center, and Daza is there.
Just off the end right there.
BJC Healthcare difference maker. Family in the stands, including mom, and in the 4th inning, this double to left center. That would score Nolan Arenado all the way from first base. Arenado has scored the 2 runs for the Cardinals. And they're all taking it in. All different camera phones ready to go. Yadi pulls it fair. Off the sidewall. Is he thinking 2? He is. Go on in there, Yadi, sliding in with his 2nd double of the day. His family and mom, they love it.
What a great swing, weight back. Hustling all the way, and a little bit of a skid right there at the end. That looked like it hurt. That's the worst, when you slide into something and it just
doesn't help you slide. You just
like,
kind of stop.
Yeah, it's kind of wet and it's a little firm today, and you know, they water the. They know what they're doing. They water the grass differently every day compared to the weather.
Fuentes in foul territory makes the catch off the bat of Justin Williams, hitless today, and now it's Bader. And again, will they walk Bader and have Mike Schilt make a decision, which would be Adam Wainwright. No one is throwing in the Cardinal pen. Well, if you walked him back in the 4th, you're going to walk him here. Catcher looking in to see.
Yeah,
yep,
I don't,
there it is.
Yeah, I don't know why does it take so long.
So 3 walks, 2 have been intentional. And again, Wainwright comes up with runners at 1st and 2nd. '26th time in his career with 2 doubles in a game for Yadier Molina. So 2 outs and 2 on. We saw in the previous at bat just how shallow Daza is in center. Now he's backing up a step or 2 and really shading Wainwright into right field. Blackmon is near the line in right. Ball in the gap scores everybody. The 1-0 pitch to Adam Wainwright. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Lots of breaking balls going to be in this situation right here for Adam.
If you're wondering, Adam Wainwright does have a 3-run homer to his name. 1 of his 10.
Just
the 1-2.
Just take a base hit.
There's only a couple of teams that have numbers like the Cardinals, but the Cardinals the only one top 5 in runs scored and runs allowed per game. You can see Diaz and Marquez going back and forth, pitcher and catcher. And a swing and a miss, and the strikeout, number 6 today. Yachty with a pair of doubles with Mom in the stands on this Mother's Day here in St. Louis. In a Cardinals Diamond Suite, accommodating groups of 10 or more. The Diamond Suites are located between 1st and 3rd, perfect for celebrating special occasions. Cardinals.com/suites. Let's check in with Jim Hayes.
Danny, 10 for 10 in save opportunities with a 0.53 ERA. Alex Reyes has been dominant in his first year as a closer so far. Mike Schilt told me he liked the way Reyes bounced right back yesterday after a bumpy 8th inning and closed out the 9th 1-2-3 by striking out the side. Mike told me he was able to flush it. When you want to be in the big moment, you have to understand it doesn't always go according to plan. How you handle it, that's what counts. Alex did a great job with that. Danny, Reyes told me recently he is having a blast closing out games.
He was on a Zoom today and he was asked about closing. Are you starting to love this role, maybe to the point that you would want to do this more so than even starting? He said, well, and you could just tell with his reaction. He said, I like starting, but he said, I'm just happy to be healthy and just pitching. The competition of just being back on the mound.
Man, that's got to be so much fun to be a closer, though. Wow. Everything on the line. Every time you're out there, pretty much. Nothing better.
Neat moment here during the commercial break. They put up Yachty's family. They're in a suite today, and in the middle of warm-ups, he just turned right around and gave him a big wave. It was like Little League Baseball. Hi, Mom. How you doing? Just happened to be doing it at Busch Stadium.
It's nice to see that she is here.
Yes. And a strike from Wainwright to start the 7th. Wainwright, by the way, has been receiving the 6th lowest run support in the National League. About 2.5 a game, the average. He got 2 runs today of support. He had that 9-inning game in which he went the distance and took a loss. That was against the Phillies. Rhys Hoskins, 2 solo home runs. And that was all the scoring in that game. And he went 9 innings. Here's a 1-1. Back to Waino. And Joe is retired 0 for 2 with a walk.
It's a good pitch right there.
Third baseman, Josh Fuentes.
Still making pitches. It's got to be. I love the thing that he does too is when he gets himself in a little bit of trouble, it's the little cutter or the little sinker. It's not just here, let me just try to get a fastball away, or here's my curveball. It's like, here, I'm in a bad situation. I'm going to throw you a pitch that you think you can hit, and let me just watch it run off the end of the bat a little bit for a little bouncer back to the pitcher.
Soft contact that we talk about. You know, we mentioned so much the exit velocity. The flip side of that is soft contact, and he gets a lot of it.
And not just, like I said, he knows exactly what he wants to do. He's going to try to get ahead. Then he's going to try to make you hit his pitch. And if he doesn't get ahead, he's going to throw you a strike, but you just don't know which way it's going to move.
Right. Crowd today, 13,380, 13380.
I feel like it just got colder up here. Maybe it's because our robot heater is on the
Fritz.
Yeah, I was looking for a better word, like a worse word, I guess. It's bouncing around like that little gold guy from Star Wars.
R2D2?
The gold one.
C3PO?
I've been staring at this thing for like 2 minutes.
What made you think that looks like C3PO?
Right there, look at it.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It's struggling to walk, it's struggling to turn, and it's also struggling to keep us warm. I don't know why I thought that. It just kind of looks like one of those things.
I got you. There's Diaz. He's 0 for 2. Breaking pitch and a strike.
C3PO.
Oh, Jimmy.
I'm still trying to figure out why everyone was saying "May the 4th be with you" the other day. Well, now I got it stuck in my head. It's like a bad song.
So you're not a Star Wars fan, or you
Ryan
are?
Kelly commercial. It never goes away. Oh, I like Star Wars, and maybe Return of the Jedi, and then I think I shut it down after that.
Oh, there's some good ones.
15 of them ago.
Hanging breaking ball lifted in the air to left center. Bader there. Diaz retired. 6 in a row for Waino. Time to stretch. On Bally Sports Midwest is brought to you by BJC Healthcare, the world's best medicine made better. And by Budweiser, this Bud's for you. 2-0 our score. It's the Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers will donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Tommy Edman to lead it off. And a new pitcher is in. That's Stevenson, the right-hander. Robert Stevenson, the former Cincinnati Red. The Chevy Colt to the pen. 15th appearance already for Stevenson. That's most on the club.
This is about almost every other day now, huh?
Yep.
It's a lot early on. That's what happens when you show your manager you can do it. They run you out there every other day.
Get that confidence.
Yeah. When you turn into the guy who comes in the game 1-0 and 2-0, then when you come into the game when you're down by 2, you know you're in trouble. Now all of a sudden they want you to pitch in every scenario to keep the team from scoring.
Edman is got a grand slam. His only hit, only plate appearance against Stevenson. The 1-0 pitch. Fouled back.
Tommy's probably happy to see somebody else out there today. Might have cost him actually probably from the looks of it, he either gave up or it cost him both of his pink bats.
You know, Mike Schilt today on the Zoom was asked about Tommy Edman, and he said he has a great ability to make adjustments in real time. Pitch to pitch, at bat to at bat. Some players cannot do that.
Jeez.
That would sting on a cold day. But you know what he's saying there, Jimmy, the in-game adjustments that you have to make.
Well, he does such a nice job. Like I said before, he'll take a really nice swing. First pitch, gets behind, he'll cut it down a little bit, and gets the 2 strikes. He'll cut his swing down even more, and he'll battle, and he'll take pitches. But he's been stuck doing that all day today, and I know he's going to be frustrated at the end of this day. That's 3 of those in a row, isn't it?
He's 0 for 4 today.
That's not fun, though. Grounding weak ground balls to the first base side as a lefty. You want to go home and rethink your situation a little bit. I've been there lots. It's almost like when you strike out 2 or 3 times and hit into a double play, you might as well just stay home that day. Been there too.
Here's Dylan Carlson on base 3 times, 2 singles and a walk. The fans are probably saying, now, why is he still a rookie, even though he played last year? Well, you have to have at least 130 at bats. He did not reach that threshold last year, or 50 innings played in the major leagues, or 45 total days on the active roster prior to September. So there you go.
That's the one that is the trick, is prior to September.
Yes.
Because you could have 45 days in the big leagues. And the other one that was on there that a lot of people probably asking because of the ridiculous run had in the playoffs was Randy Arozarena still on that list.
That's
too.
right. Carlson with a fly ball into center. Jonathan Daza is there for the
Look at that
second
wind
out.
knock that ball down right there.
While we have a moment, quick word from Great Southern Bank.
Lots of new little firsts to keep up with means less time for banking. Good thing you can check your balance with a text and get back to all of life's little firsts with Great Southern Text Banking.
Goldschmidt, pair of strikeouts, has also flied to right, 0 for 3. 1 ball and 1 strike. And a base hit into center.
Such a good swing when he's so confident and quiet. Had 2 tough at bats earlier on. I don't think there's a happier group of guys to get Marquez out of the game than this Cardinal offense. Good swing, balance, on his toes.
There's Nolan Arenado with a solo home run in the second. Infield hit, run scored in the fourth, and fly to center.
They do throw over an awful lot, don't they?
Yes.
And I don't know why right here you would throw over with Goldie on first with 2 outs and Arenado hitting. There's no reason to, I mean, in my opinion, there's no reason to throw over in this situation. Unless you're just trying to buy some extra time for, I don't know, an extra commercial. I don't know.
No one throwing in the bullpen.
No one's throwing in the bullpen. Maybe the catcher is thinking, oh, I don't really know what I want to do right here, so let's throw over.
At some point, you're going to have to deliver it to the plate.
But that's the one outcome I can see, right? Give me another minute or two to think about how I'm going to attack this. Let's throw over right here. Maybe it doesn't come from the bench all the time, but that's acceptable. I'll take that one.
Here's the 0-1.
But as the manager, in my opinion, and I love Bud Black, I'm just making a silly statement, but why there? You know, he's not running. A lot of times they'll throw over to first base to see in the situation, maybe a bunting situation, see if the hitter squares around. Clearly that's not it right here. All kind of tricks out there, but I didn't see any that needed that attention.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Shallow center. And Daza calls off Story to make the catch. Wainwright through 7. Going back out for the 8th, 2-0.
the Budweiser Player of the Game, Adam Wainwright. 7 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 3 Ks. 91 pitches, and he's our Budweiser Player of the Game, and he's still going strong, Danny. And 91 pitches, he gets through this inning. This is a big, big start right here for him.
Only 2 hits. That's been it. He gave up a double to Charlie Blackmon in the 2nd inning. And then Tapia in the 6th inning, a base hit to center. And since that time, 6 straight. Struck out 3. He has walked 2. That has been it. Nothing into the count. Genesis Cabrera, the hard throwing lefty, getting loose in the pen. So you have Daze here, then a pinch hitter. Matt Adams has moved to the on deck circle, and then Raimel Tapia at the top of their lineup. The 0-2 pitch. It's been an amazing career for Adam Wainwright, and it continues in 2021. The 1-2 pitch. Check swing, and he went. Strikeout number 4. Seven in a row.
Yeah, he might have gone just a little bit. What do you think? Or a lot of it?
Yachty stepping out in front of the plate. Matt Adams tips the cap. He's had a nice ovation every time he's come to the plate. He's appeared in all 3 games of the series. Struck out to end it yesterday. That's a kick save and a beauty. He was trying to do that.
He was. He just couldn't get his big body down there fast enough, so he figured put my feet together. And what's crazy is you can actually see him turn his leg. He's yelling at Matt Adams now. Watch what he does here. He starts to get out of the way and realizes, I'm just going to put my feet together so it doesn't go between my legs. Skate save and a beauty. Panger would be proud.
You bet.
And then
holy jumping.
Then the two guys are jawing at each other as he runs off.
There's Tapia at top of the lineup, extended his hitting streak to 9. Fly to right, struck out looking, and a base hit to center. If he gets through this, Cardinals have not been shy about letting Waino go deep. Do you think about the 9th?
You think about the 9th until you get to maybe Blackmon if someone's on.
The 2-0 pitch. Chopped up the first base line, fair, and an 8-pitch inning for Adam Wainwright. Here at the ballpark, and the bottom of the 8th, and a cold day rolls in here at Busch Stadium. Great story here in Daniel Bard, our Chevy call to the pen. He's got the high ERA so far. This season he's appeared in 11 games. He was just rolling along in his career. He actually was signed to a minor league deal by the Cardinals and made 8 minor league appearances at Palm Beach in 16 after having great success in the major leagues. That's how far he had fallen. Mets had signed him. Then the Rockies got him to attempt to come back, and here he is.
Then he's got a You said it, an 8 ERA this year. He's got a major league career ERA of 3.8.
Yes, he's had terrific years before, and this is DeYoung. He was the comeback player of the year as he threw before scouts in 2020. Announced he was coming back, and the Rockies gave him a shot.
Interesting to look at his stats over the years, like you were talking about. Pitched in 73 games in 2010, pitched in 70 games 2011. 2012 and 2013 pitched in 19 games and did not pitch in the big leagues until 2020.
Shallow center.
That's some kind of story.
Well, he just completely lost control. Couldn't find the plate. Inexplicably lost it. And you can't imagine, and there is Yachty, but I'm sure the sleepless nights, the wonderment of what happened.
Good for him, though. Kept going, right?
It's awesome.
7 years to get back to the big leagues.
There's Yadier Molina. Big day for Yachty. Couple of doubles. Look at that swing by Yadier Molina. Picked up an RBI today, too. His 18th of the year. His average is up to 333. Hits it sharply to short. No one is throwing in the Cardinal bullpen. While we have a moment, quick word from Cardinal Glennon.
Done. That was easy. Make your pledge for Cardinal Glennon patients just like me at homersforhealth.org. I did.
Danny, I have an interesting stat for you. And I just lost it. But at one point in his comeback in the minor leagues, he had an ERA of 175 trying to come back. That's unheard of.
Well, he was hitting everybody, walking everybody.
It's unbelievable. And to be honest with you, it's kind of a joke, but not a joke. I'm giving this guy so much credit for just keep coming back. And he's got good stuff. He's back in the big leagues, and congratulations to him on just sticking it out. It's great to see.
He also won the Tony Canigliaro Award, and that's given to the player that shows determination, courage, overcoming huge obstacles to make it back or to have success.
Well, you have to have some kind of grit to be able to do what he's done and come back.
Into center and a base hit for Williams.
I'm looking at this right here, just even the minor league stats where you talked about how he struggled a little bit. 2014, he pitched in 4 games. Only pitched in 2 1/3 innings in 4 games. They gave up 13 runs.
Right.
To even want to pitch again, to even deal with another year, to even come back to a spring training and throw in front of scouts. Wow. Tip your cap.
Canigliaro was hit in 1967. It was a beanball, and I'm sure you've seen the pictures of him afterwards with the eye and the face. Tony C. Here's Harrison Bader.
There's your Bruce Bolt batting gloves right there, my friend.
There you go. Wainwright's last complete game shutout, 2016. That was against Miami. And I want to say that that was the game that they were honoring the 06 team. That was the 10-year anniversary.
That was. I was either going to say that day or it was his birthday.
No, it was. He was on the mound.
Yeah. No, I meant like we were all sitting up here. I think you and I were doing the game.
I guess it was a weekend celebration, but the majority of the guys were there that Saturday night. Good fastball. Whew. And he pitched that game. One ball and 2 strikes. It was a 3-hit shutout. Right now it's a 2-hit shutout, and he's 3 outs away. Strikeout of Bader. Adam Wainwright left on deck, but still unfinished business as we head to the ninth. Adam Wainwright still in the game. 39-year-old will not turn 40 until August 30th. The oldest player in the National League and looking for his second complete game of the season. Lost the first one 2-0. This one he's ahead 2-0. Last year, he was the oldest Cardinal to earn a win in a complete game since Chuck Finley in 2002. And he was the oldest to throw a complete game with 9 or more strikeouts since 1933. If you're wondering, Jess Haynes, back in 1937, he was 44. He had a complete game shutout. He is something else. Trevor Story, Ryan McMahon, Charlie Blackmon, Genesis Cabrera getting loose just in case. And there's strike one. His wife, Jenny, their family was hit with COVID, so Adam has been away from the ballpark. He obviously was not. What a Mother's Day gift this would be. The 0-1 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Story is grounded out to third, was robbed by Nolan Arenado, struck out, then grounded out to short.
Danny, you said it too. Their family was hit with COVID, and I believe Jenny was hit pretty hard. And so, Jenny, I know you're watching, hoping that you're feeling better. I'm sure you are enjoying this.
The 1-1 hit out of play. 14 of the hitters today have seen 3 pitches or less from Adam Wainwright. He's been efficient. Pitch count at 102. He has walked 2 today. 2 hits. He has struck out 4. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Just got a piece.
That's the one down there. You got to get it down there. You see Yachty go to the head. Think about this. Get it down. Not leave it up here. Good pitch.
In that complete game against the Phillies, he threw 107. This will be pitch number 104. What does Yachty want here on 1 and 2?
Get it down. There it was. Good job. Tell me those guys don't know each other, or that he doesn't trust Yachty. I think you try to bust him in on the hands right here just to see if you can catch him kind of thinking breaking ball and then panic when he sees the fastball. But you got to get it in off the plate. There it is.
The 2-2 pitch. Fouled back.
Not there. Not there.
Waino and Yachty turning back the clock again here in 2021. Since day one of spring training, they've been two of the best players on this Cardinals roster. Both had very good springs. Yachty today with a pair of doubles, and Waino trying to finish what he started.
The good thing about missing there is Trevor Story doesn't know that he missed. You know what I mean? Yachty, you set up inside and then you throw the ball down the middle. Yachty reaches back, but as a hitter, you're thinking, now he just threw the ball down the middle. Should have hit that. So you can go right back in there. Maybe not in there, up there, but
this may be decision time too for Mike Shildt if he does not get Trevor Story with back-to-back lefties coming up.
Let's see if you're watching. You can't see what I'm watching, but Yachty almost getting Bader's attention. Bader moving, everyone moving.
The curveball, and he struck him out.
The game inside the game, Danny. That's what makes it so great.
Now Ryan McMahon.
I think if you're Adam, this is the game for you right here. You got to get this guy out.
Lined into shallow left. Cut off by Williams. And the tying run will come to the plate. Mike Shildt just took off his hat, scratched his head. The wheels spinning, and it looks like he's saying, "This is yours." Ryan Helsley just got up. And here comes Mike Shildt.
I think he's going out there to see how
well,
he
he's
feels.
running, and that's usually his way
that's
to say,
a good sign.
"Yeah, we're not taking you out. We're talking to you here."
You know what I like about this? I like that he's going out there. The pitching coach is not going out there. Mike's going out there to find out exactly what's going on, how he feels, because he's the one that ultimately is responsible for the decision.
He kept Waino in against the Phillies, and Rhys Hoskins hit a home run. He hit 2 in that game. The Cardinals did come back with a run, and the second home run was hit late. They eventually lost that game 2-1. He stays with Waino here. Runner at first and Charlie Blackmon. As Jimmy mentioned, Blackmon has been taking some of the better at bats this weekend for the Rockies. Double to left center, grounded out to first, lined out to center. He's 8 for 18 against Adam Wainwright. First pitch, a ball.
Kind of go back to the old school pitching. If you're going to let him beat you or make him beat you the other way, really give him anything that he can pull.
Two 2-0 the count. Pitch count at 1-10 for Adam Wainwright. Cardinals turn to double play back in the second. That's taken high. Well, if he doesn't get him here, he's got to go to his bullpen.
Yeah, he could be running low right here. Got underneath that cutter a little bit.
Fans trying to back one of their all-time favorites. Now time called. That also is the game within the game.
It definitely can be.
What does he do on 3-0? He flips a breaking ball in there. Charlie Blackmon saying, "You got to be kidding me."
Well, now you're thinking, is he going to do that to me again?
Exactly.
And if you're Charlie, you're thinking, I got to hit a homer here or a gapper. And now all of a sudden, there's the wrench. Is breaking ball.
3-1 pitch. And he walked him.
I'll tell you what, he's going to take him out right here. But what a gutsy performance by Adam Wainwright.
Let's just take it in. Eight and a third. Adam Wainwright. Double switch. Williams out. O'Neill in. Helsley coming on. Wainwright out. One out in the ninth, and now 2 runners on. Turns it over to Ryan Helsley. Remember, Alex Reyes 30 pitches yesterday. And Mike Shildt spoke of this, that you may see Helsley in these types of situations when guys are down. And this is one of them. Chevy called to the pen, where you have the tying runs on and the go-ahead run now coming to the plate. The Cardinals trying to pick up a sweep.
I think this just keeps going to show you how much Helsley's role has gotten more important and more important as each day goes by, and he definitely got the stuff. So sit back and watch this.
Right-handed batters hitting .220 against him this year, and that's a ball outside at 96. And the 1-0 pitch. Goldschmidt moving a couple of steps to his right.
This guy takes a healthy hack. This is his last name, Joe.
And he had a bunch of home runs, nearly 20 back in 2019, the last full minor league season. Outfield very deep. No doubles defense. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Just off the plate. 2-1. Three and one. Fuentes is at the on deck circle.
You got to just be careful as a reliever. You try to go out there and not give up the run, not give up the game. Just be aggressive. Throw your stuff out there. Let it play. Not give these guys too much credit, especially when you throw as hard as he does and the stuff that he's got. Just can't afford to keep getting behind.
Now the base is loaded for the Rockies. And a base hit could tie this game up. Mike Maddox out to visit. Fuentes with the bases loaded, 2 for 5 with a double, and 4 runs batted in. Pretty good speed at second base with Charlie Blackmon. So McMahon at third, Blackmon at second, Joe at first. All loaded up with 1 out here in the top of the 9th. Cardinals have out hit the Rockies 8-3 in this game. St. Louis trying to pick up win number 21 and a sweep against Colorado. Fastball fouled back. The 0-1. Fuentes has been pulling a lot of the pitches, so Goldschmidt well off the line at first base. Tommy Edman on his 26th birthday is near the bag at second. Happy birthday, Tommy. Outfield is straight away. The 1-1. All he can do is watch.
Not a good feeling.
The 2-1 pitch. Ground ball. Hit to short. Out there. The turn. It's a sweep. A double play to end it. Waino gets the win. 2-0 the final.
Well, look at the smile right there, Danny. That tells you everything. Look at this. That is what it's all about. The veteran going and telling the young kid, great job. And Adam Wainwright. Hopefully, Jenny, you're at home watching this and feeling better, but what a great day for you. Such a pleasure to watch.
4th 3-game sweep of the season for the Cardinals. Waino's reaction. Get it, got it. The Cardinals are rolling right now. 21-14 and a sweep over the Colorado Rockies. Off day tomorrow, finishing up 17 in a row. I'm not sure they want the off day the way they're playing. That ends the homestand, and the post-game show is coming your way next. What a day at the ballpark. Happy Mother's Day. 2-0 the final.